Hello doll collectors, I am Toot Sweet, I like big eyes and tiny fashions, and I hope you're all having a lovely day. Today I'm going to be answering 10 questions for Blythe doll collectors. This is a list of 10 questions for Blythe doll collectors, and it's a list put together by Kim at The Dolls, the Witch and the Wardrobe and Ambei at Little Plastic Friends. They are two other dolly YouTubers who I do highly recommend. Give them a follow and a watch if doll content is your thing. They put together this list and encouraged other doll collectors to answer as well. I also saw March Payne of March Payne's Midlife Dolly Crisis. I also recommend you watch his answers as well because I found it entertaining and I think you might too. I thought this was such a lovely idea because I love listening to other collectors talk about their doll collections and how they got into the hobby. I really enjoyed listening to both Kim and Ambei answer these questions, so I thought I would join in as well. The first question is, how did you discover Blythe? I originally discovered Blythe in the early 2000s through Gina's photography, particularly the pictures from This Is Blythe. Specifically for me, a friend made me a mix CD, that's how long ago it was, and included one of Gina's postcards in it and wrote me a message on it. And I just thought the doll in the picture was so beautiful and so odd. I was just really taken by the way that she was styled and the way that she was dressed and posed like she was a real person, but with these really bizarre over-the-top proportions. At the time, it didn't really occur to me that this was a doll that I could have or collect. I just assumed that she was like an art doll that the photographer had made by like taking a head off one doll and putting it on another doll. But I did think the picture was gorgeous and the doll was gorgeous. And then years later, when Irregular Choice, which is one of my favourite shoe brands, released their Blythe collab that had little pictures of Blythe on them, I was like, that's the doll from the postcard. And that was where I learned her name, and then I could Google her and find the This Is Blythe forums, and that's where I fell down the rabbit hole. The next question is, how many Blythes do you have? So I have 25, not including Flower Girl of Happiness that I just pre-ordered. Currently have in my house 25, and that's 24 Neos, 1 Kenner. I also have 4 middies and a couple of petites knocking around somewhere. I know that sounds like a lot, but I have been collecting for a really long time, since like 2010. The next question was, who was my first Blythe? My first Blythe was Nikki Ladd. I will try and find a picture of her in her original form. I've named her Gigi. She has since had her hair changed a couple of times and being customized and put on a new body, but I like to think that in her heart she's still the same Gigi she's always been. She was customized by Soul Girl Dolls, who I don't think is in the hobby anymore, unfortunately, but she did do lovely work, and her kind of trademark was these eyelids. All her Blythes had these like very like usually a solid colour eyelid with like flower details on. Really pretty. And this custom work only cost me 40 euros. It was a good few years ago, to be fair, but back in the day there were quite a few more affordable customizers around who would do really beautiful custom work for 40 or 50 quid. How times have changed. The next question is, do you have a Grail Blythe? Not at the moment, because I got one of my longest ever Grails, which was Goldie. Goldie has been at the top of my Grail list for years, and I got her last year. I did do an unboxing video of her, and I still think she's a really special Blythe, even now when I put her amongst the others. I just feel like she really stands out because the others all have quite calm faces and she just looks terrified. I love her so much. Other than Goldie, if there was another doll that I really wanted, it would probably be Vinta Arden. I love FBLs. I love stock FBL faces. And she's the one that's got really expensive, but I really love her hair color as well. So maybe someday, but I'm not actively seeking her right now because she just goes for huge amounts of money. Question 5 is, who is your favorite Blythe in your collection? That's like asking which of your children is your favorite, but it's this one. UFO a go-go. She is not the rarest, most sought after or most expensive doll in my collection, but for years, ever since I got her, I think I reach for her more often than all of my other dolls, even more than Goldie. I love her colouring. I think she's so pretty. This hair colour is like one of my favourite colours in the world ever. I love her soft grey chips, but she looks good in so many different things. I think she looks good in like these soft muted colours. She looks cute in pastels, but she also looks really good in like strong reds. And she also has like the perfect hairstyle for me, which is the bob with the fringe. Because I take my dolls outside for photographs a lot, and the hair can often be the hardest bit to control. If there's a slightest breeze, it's like all over their face. And I find that the fringe and the bob is just the most manageable hairstyle for taking pictures out and about. I also think it looks super cute. Ooh, question number 6 is stock, custom, or both? I have both, but I do have significantly more stock girls. I think it's because I do really enjoy the stock face. So if I do get a custom doll done, it's usually because I really enjoy that artist's work. I don't collect fake Blythes, I only have legit Blythes, so I have to really like the customer's work enough to sacrifice one of my stock girls for the transformation. One of my favorites is probably Pendle, who was done by Lolly Dolly Customs. And I just love her. Lolly Dolly does some of the loveliest like painted faces you'll ever see. They're really distinctive. But I just kind of wanted like a slightly toned down version for like my little witchy girl, and I think she just did such a beautiful job on this one. She also included special eye chips that were also made by Lolly Dolly. I love these ones, they're so cool. So yes, both, but I do lean more towards stock. If I get a custom, I've got to really love the customizer's work. Question number 7 is, what is your favorite part of collecting? I know this is the cliche answer that everyone says, but it is the community. It really is. I get such a buzz off going to events like BlytheCon. It keeps me happy for weeks. The Blythe community are so nice and friendly. I have dipped my toe into some other doll communities here and there, and the Blythe one, generally speaking, has a huge amount of creativity and very little drama. I mean, there's some here and there, but it generally passes me by. I barely use social media anymore. It's just kind of very much lost its appeal for me, except for doll stuff. Share doll pictures and talk to other doll collectors. Number 8 is, where do you prefer to buy Blythe dolls? For me, it's Junie Moon for new dolls and Mandarake for older dolls and secondhand dolls. I like Mandarake because you can get some really good bargains there, and I've never had a bad experience with them. I find that the dolls always arrive either as described or in better condition than described. Sometimes a doll will be listed as used and she hasn't been removed from the box when she's arrived to me. For new dolls, I like Junie Moon. Again, I've never had a bad experience buying from Junie Moon. They have really good customer service. I've only had an issue with a doll once, and their customer service was absolutely on it. They chased it for me. They contacted me first, I didn't contact them first. It was a really good experience. And one of the reasons I am a Blythe collector and not a Barbie collector is because the customer service I have had from Mattel Creations has been so bad. I just can't buy from them anymore. Good customer service will keep me as a customer for life. Question number 9 is, who is the oldest doll in your collection by release date, not including Kenner's? That is, here she is again, Miss Goldie. She is from 2001, so one of the very first Neo Blythes, which is also why she was so hard to get hold of years later. And the last question is, do you have a Kenner Blythe? I do. Most of you will have seen her before, but if you are new here, this is Henwin, my Kenner. As you can tell, she has thin, very frizzy hair that is like lopsided and more frizzy on one side than the other. She has a bit of a lip rub there, but I've always really liked her lip rub because if you can see, it's quite even. It's like a thin line across there, the bottom bit here that's been rubbed off. So she just looks like she has thin lips, which I like. I never really intended to get a Kenna unless I like found one at a charity shop or a car boot or something. You know, one of those miraculous stories you hear. But she popped up and I just instantly fell in love with her, and I think it was her hair, because she does have the hair that I like. Because like I said, I love a bob and a fringe on a Blythe. And I think she'd been reduced a few times. I think the seller was struggling to find a buyer, and I think it's because they were based in Europe, so the US collectors didn't really want to pay the postage fees. And this is pre-Brexit, so it was before it was really expensive for us in the UK to get items delivered from Europe. So I got her for a steal, really. I just really fell for her immediately, and I thought if I ever get a Kenna, this is the one. So that is all 10 questions. Thank you so much to Ambei and Kim for putting this list together and encouraging other collectors to talk more about their dolls. I really love the concept of this because I feel like sometimes doll YouTube can be nothing but unboxing and the latest item. And for me, it's been really lovely just to take a minute to stop and appreciate the dolls I already have. Thank you so much for watching. I will link all of the mentioned YouTubers in my description, and I highly recommend you check them all out. Have a lovely dolly day.